The last pick, though, they gotta find something that combos well with the mags and also can deal with the Pam, because the Pam is gonna be ready with that scrap sucker anytime they even think about pushing in. And there's the Otis. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
I like it. I think maybe Rico could also
Всем привет. Короче, это чемпионат мира по Brawl Stars. И, короче, вот.
It is a bit of an odd map, right? You can go very stacked towards the middle. You can have two players mid one of the lanes.
Вторая часть.
Defensive or offensive. There's a lot of different possibilities when it comes to Ring of Fire. And I'm curious to see how they will deal with that refs when it comes to the actual game. As we have the final pick coming in for Zeta Division 0, it is...
0? 2 zeros.
Oh,
Heck. Goose eggs. Well, I mean, Zeta Division 0, right? They love their zeros, I suppose. Okay, there it is. Griff. We were talking about this one earlier. We love the guy, and he's pretty good at mid. He's great at denying some aggressive charges in, just keeping you completely on the edge of his range because he has a lot of health to offer, and he has a lot of damage to offer, too. I like this strategy from Zeta 0. They just got to make sure that they get those supers out early and get them out often, too.
Yeah, a bit more snowball on the side of Zeta Division 0, but a longer setup time. Because, you know, getting that healing station or dishing out those treats to buff up your teammates is going to take a little bit of time. And as you can see already in the early game, that means Chasmag have the advantage. They have a lot of supers, though, and Chappie has one of his own. Let's see how he decides to utilize that. I think he already opened up the walls on the left side earlier, or that was probably the Griff, actually. Pekka getting out of the zone at last, but not before granting Chasmag a 37 early lead.
Tufa on the right side, also trying to blow things out versus Kuru. He does get a couple of taps here, also has a super to offer as well. Almost gets Kuru there, though. He's all sped up. Good victory as well by Pekka. A choppy falls. Chasmag Gaming BR, they refuse to leave this point. Tensai is trying to do whatever he can, but with the walls broken open on the left side, sure, admit that Squeak had a lot less value, but Squeak has just adapted. Moved over to the right side, but now Kuru pushes in tremendous value. He's got to be just a few coins away from that next super to continue pushing things back. There's no doubt in my mind. One health on what? The survival from Firecrow. He goes down shortly after, but the survival is certainly impressive. Chasmag Gaming BR, they try to retaliate, but Zeta Division 0 wipe him out, and they got that mid control back.
Yeah, it looked like Chasmag were getting away with this one. That match point was imminent, but Zeta Division 0 are catching up. A couple percent behind now, about to overtake them. Tufa going for a super. He does get the connection up to Tensai. That should be some free damage, but good teamwork from Zeta Division 0 to distract that from happening, as Chasmag are trying their best to really get that foothold in the mid. It's a couple percentages in their favor. Pekka was a phase shifter, and Chappie gets muted, goes down. Kuru in a 1v1 now as he gets a kill. He's low HP, and the connection from Tufa has a super. It is still the lead for Zeta Division 0, but it's so incredibly close.
It's a war of attrition. Whoever dies first is dead forever, and you just gotta keep on slugging away at those enemies because they are charging in with health all the time, endlessly. Quick takedown of that super and a silence onto Kuru, but it doesn't stop the guy. Tensai refuses to leave this point. He's gonna have to be removed with force, but Tufa and Pekka, Firecrow, they don't want to take the risk here. Tensai, a choppy Kuru, they just keep on popping in and out of that. Here comes the supply drop as well for Tensai. A kill onto Firecrow. It's not looking good for Chasmag Gaming BR. In fact, it might all end here. There's the game victory for Zeta Division 0. No match point for you.
Wow. 2 sets lead. That's what Chasmag managed to build up until now. We are a game away from being all tied up, from going all the way to the 5th and final set for the first time in these World Finals 22. Let's find out if Zeta Division 0 can do it, or if Chasmag Gaming get to match point.
Mid area blocked off. Attempt from a Chabi to clear things out, but it's not going to be super successful. This is the early game victory for Chasmag Gaming BR as they have things cleared out by, wow, never mind, here comes Kuru, changing things out, a little wall break as well. Tensai and Achabi quickly flipped the script and now are quickly approaching that percentage and now eclipsing what's been captured so far by Chasmag Gaming BR.
Back out, has speed, pump it solo. Chappie getting that buff out, gets picked up, but eventually, I mean, yeah, that is going to be a nice skill for Tufa to pick up, make sure that buff is out of the picture as well. Tensai taking a decent bit of damage and has to reposition after that gadget from Tufa. Is going to be slowing down that left-hand side of the zone. A little bit of a lead still for Zeta, but not a massive one. A good mid presence from Chasmac now, as well as Tufak goes for super connection onto a champion. That should be a free kill. Becca just swoops by and finds a nice flank now to take down the healing station, get some big damage onto Tensai, and a chance for Chasmac to start catching up again.
But Guru refuses to leave this back left corner. Firecrow's trying to contend him on his own. It's going to be difficult. Firecrow goes down. Tensai assumes the domination at mid as well. The guy just refuses to die. Pekka and Tufa can try all they wish, but it won't be enough. A Choppy also falls to Tufa, and the tree is left stranded on the ground way further than Zeta Zero can reach the moment. But Chasmac Gaming VR are still in the back foot as well. Kuru gets a kill once again on Firecrow. He will go down to the super, and a quick dispelling there by Pekka. But along the way, Zeta Division Zero have gotten so much capture, and they're getting past that area of no return.
Set 5 is so close now. But let's see, because Chasmac, they're not giving up just yet. They want to keep every inch. Line here. Let's see if they can make it happen. As Chasmac are catching up, but slowly. There's only 40 seconds left on the clock as well. Kuru gets muted. He's gonna go. Oh, never mind. Not quite down. The heal comes just in time to keep him up. This is a chance here for Zeta Division Zero. They find a kill. It's traded out. Tensai is low. A connection onto Kuru as well, but it's enough for Zeta Division Zero to tie things up and push things all the way to set 5.
Reverse sweep from Zeta Division Zero could be coming in. The first two sets went confidently the way of Chasmac Gaming VR, and look at the smiles on their faces. At some point you'll wonder, was this the plan all along? Was Zeta Division Zero just planning to get a reverse sweep for the crowd? With all of the interaction, with all of the cheering as well, you can't help but wonder just a little bit, because how clear-cut things have been.
I saw their faces at the end of the second set. I can tell that was not planned. I've never seen them look this non-confident, but yet in set 3 they turn things around. Set 4 they keep that momentum up, and now, I mean, we're going to set 5, which already most of you guys would not have expected. But what's crazy about it as well is that this is a whole lot of momentum that Zeta Division Zero have built up. A champion career, both tied on 6 kills. Top of the leaderboards for home zone is going to be Pekka on the side of Chasmac. Had a fantastic set, but not quite enough to lock in that match point that they desperately wanted on the side of Chasmac.
And look at that DPS they had to offer as well. Zeta Division Zero, they were taking a beating health-wise. However, they had so much health coming in. They had Griff just passively healing up. They had Pam as well. Always very, very high health. They're going to be throwing down that turret repeatedly and staying in the mix. And we saw it from Tensai the entire time. Now headed into the final set, set number 5. This one set determines who heads on to the quarterfinals and whose year of effort gets left in the dust in the round of 16.
The nerves and the pressure is going to be rising up here on both sides, as a single set is going to decide who moves on to the quarterfinals and who goes home without nearly what they were hoping for coming into the World Finals 2022. Bells Rock knockout. That is going to be intense. Who can hold on the best under pressure, as Proud B and Tick are going to be banned out by Zeta Division 1. Chasmac Gaming BR banning out the Bonnie, Gus, and Max. And the first pick of Brock to open up those walls for Chasmac VR.
I definitely like this pick because the intention is very clear. Break open the walls, because I see a thrower that is not banned here that could be pretty good as a last pick, and that's got to be Grom. And they're not willing to take the risk of picking a thrower that early. It's why you pick it as a last pick, because they're so straightforward to counter with things such as this. Brock, he's also fantastic now with the reload gear, and he also has that star power that offers a lot more rockets on his super, which can unexpectedly get some kills that you wouldn't usually get.
We've seen that happen in the past. I mean, massive damage output. Gene, I think, is a very solid response. Does well in an open map, which usually you want to do when you have a Brock on your team, but also just incredible, whether it's the magic puffs, whether it's the pull, it's just so incredibly versatile. And even the Vengeful Spirits nowadays are considered as a very strong gadget in most options. Are you facing something tanky? Just you know, go for the knockback. And there's so many different possibilities with that brawler. She's very versatile. Another incredibly versatile brawler is going to be Belle. I mean, it's her home, right? We are going to be watching Belle's rock, so might as well bring her on the table. And I appreciate what both teams are doing, at least so far, not taking any wild risks, because they know so much depends on this single draft.
No, I mean, I'm personally more of a wild risk guy myself. I mean, I do like to see some risky stuff here every now and then. 5 seconds left for Chazmat Gaming VR to choose their next brawler too. It's going to be Piper, actually. Combine that with the wall break that Brock has to offer. You have something quite dangerous, but they have to make sure that they don't dig themselves into a hole here where they could be vulnerable to something like Fang, which is looking like more and more of a possibility.
Yeah, this is going to be an intense final set, I can already tell you. Sharpshooters left and right. What is this final pick from Chazmat Gaming VR gonna be? Are they gonna go in the same direction, long range, high damage? Or will they go for, well, it is quite long range, quite high damage, but very different, a lot of utility as well with the mute, a lot of possibilities to close out those games as well. Once those rounds get to the later stages, it's going to be your closer. When Brock and Piper don't really want to be up close and forced in close quarters combat, Otis is perfect for that. Let's find out though what their reaction and final pick of this match is going to be. A Zeta Division 0 pick their decision, and it's going to be Janet.
It's a safe pick, pretty much, and you can throw down that turret. It gets some good control for you. It's probably going to fall almost instantly to P.E.K.K.'s gadget when he pops it down, so Zeta Division 0, they need to get lucky in terms of where they have those lane matchups off the beginning of the game, because Belle's Rock is not the worst to lane swap, but when you do lane swap, you can forfeit a lot of area control, and that's the last thing that you want to do when the mid is where the game takes place towards the end, when the poison closes you all in. Here come the lane matchups, and Tensai is going to be a mid, and so is Firecrow. No gadget yet from Tensai. Here comes the first one from Firecrow. It's actually forcing Tensai into those bushes. Not an area that you want to find yourself in the early game, but thankfully there's no one to pinch him up. What was that from Tufa? A choppy goes down, and it's a 3v2.
That is a massive opening for Chazmat VR as Firecrow finds another. Tensai goes down. It's only Kuru in a 1v3. A homemade recipe, I believe, that connects from P.E.K.K.A. I'm not sure if that was useful, but they want to make sure that Kuru doesn't get away with a free mark for the next round. And yeah, good jukes from Kuru, but eventually the final connection from P.E.K.K.A. is going to give the round to Chazmat. They are still in this game. They are still in this match, and they are a round away from a match point.
Here comes the lane swap. Kuru posts a slight range advantage versus Tufa, but Tufa's going to be trying to lay down the law with Incendiary too. Tensai still at mid, also continues keeping things back. It's pretty much an even fight here. Achabi is also going to be helping out Tensai, even if he concedes a little bit of damage to Firecrow with those magic blasts. But Achabi also has a range advantage over Piper. Going to be continuously pushing her back. Only 1,000 health left on P.E.K.K.A. Oh, Recipe not going to get the kill on Achabi though. Kuru still forced back. Firecrow looks for something. He has a super at the ready. No contact there with the reflected shot from Belle. And still no kills here, but Tufa has to be extremely cautious about this right side. Though he does have a super at the ready. In fact, all of Chazmat Gaming VR do. And Achabi is ready to punish them for any aggression with his magic hand.
A lot of close calls, especially on the side of Zeta Division 0. Their gene pool is still an absolute threat, especially as we get towards the end game. For this round, a gadget from Tensai, the ball to Firecrow. That's going to be a kill, a 2v2, low HP across the board. Tensai going for the pinch on to P.E.K.K.A. Good connection, a 1v1. No, but P.E.K.K.A. jumps into the gas. He's going to fall, and this game goes to round 3 as well.
A super close game, and it's all coming down to the very last round here to determine who is the first wielder of that match point. Chazmat Gaming VR need to bring this one back, but they have to do it very, very carefully because they are outranged in a few regards here. P.E.K.K.A. though, on the left lane, he has saved a homing recipe for the very end. Oh my gosh, he was just in range! And Chazmat Gaming VR are in a 2v3.
Wow, the bull as well! A choppy deletes Firecrow, and Tufa knows it's over here as it's gonna be match point for Zeta Division 0. Ice cold, as now it's a single game separating Zeta Division 0 from the quarterfinals, and here as well from the full-on reverse sweep. Unbelievable stuff.
Textbook definition of a reverse sweep right here. And Zeta Division 0, They plan to see it to completion. Chazmac Gaming BR stands firmly in their path, and they will not relent for even a second. Lane matchups here too, looking quite good for Chazmac Gaming BR. Early kill by Pekka around the right side. A 3v2 now. Tensai continues to push Brock back, and these matchups start to shift just a little bit. Choppy, he's playing extremely cautiously. Tensai, he's dodging out these shots like no one's business, but not versus Pekka. The pinch comes through, and it's a Choppy versus the world.
A Choppy goes down to Pekka. Pekka was just an absolute flawless opening round. As they are facing that match point from Zeta Division 0, Chazmac, they have not given up just yet. They'll fight all the way until the end, and they want that double match point. Can they reach it? A couple whiff shots from Pekka on the right-hand side will make that a bit more difficult, but he does connect the follow-up onto Tensai, keeping him low and making sure he doesn't overcommit too far. Not in the best position HP-wise. A Chappy gets to reset his heals as well. There's a pull available for Chappy. We know how strong he is with those. Tensai's pushing forward. 2-5 stuck. He's going down, and man advantage for Zeta.
Oh my gosh, and Kuru absolutely deletes the left side. Tensai diffs the right, and we are at the ultimate match point. One round remains for Zeta Division 0 to claim their victory here and now, or Chazmac Gaming BR to flip this one in the complete opposite direction. And a Choppy on the right side continues to chip down Tupa, continuously outranging him, and has that super at the ready. Dodge super there, a little pass damage around to Pekka. Good stuff from Kuru, good stuff,
not a chance down. Wow, beautiful stuff from Chazmac. They find another. Tensai falls, and it's only a Choppy in a 1v3. A desperate attempt that he could try with that pull, but he needs to find a target, and CMG are not willing to get anyone in range. That should be double match stone point coming up ready.
Yeah, it's Chazmac Gaming BR right now. They're just playing with their food. A Choppy's fighting for his life, but it was chalked from the moment he was locked in a 1v3. It's a double match point incoming. And the last thing that so many people expected here, 85% voting in favor of Zeta Division 0. And now it comes down to a double match point to decide whether 85% go home right or 15% of the believers remain victorious.
I think there might be a little bit of a problem. The player cam showed us as well that the players were, calling for admins and not moving out of their spawn. I'm assuming this will be replayed, as I'm assuming a game crashed or something along those lines. It happens. It happens. It's always tough to get every single device running properly, and at times we'll have to do some of those rematches. Don't have a confirmation just yet from production, so I'm just assuming so far. But that would be a dramatic way to end the series.
It sure would be a dramatic way to end the series. That double match point as well for something like this to happen is just crazy. The pressure continues to build, and who's getting iced here? Who is getting sort of their nerves drawn out the most possible? Who's the most confident going into this match? All questions that we don't have the answer to, and also we're still trying to figure out what exactly is going on. However, rest assured, we're going to be heading back into that match very, very soon here. I have a lot of expectations, so we saw consistent good gameplay, I think, from both teams there. I think a lot of it also came down to specific lane matchups and when the walls were broken open to give any particular team the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming one of the players' devices just crashed or stopped working. It happened to me when we were rehearsing and trying out the devices, so I can relate it. It felt bad, it felt bad, but I can't imagine how it feels for them now, as that was some good momentum for Chazmac, bringing it back to all the way to double match point. The crowd has been going nuts, supporting both teams a fair amount, impressed by Chazmac's performance, honestly, and also a lot of Zeta fans all around. I mean, it's East Asia has been the region that everyone has had their eyes on this year, and obviously the reason is both Zeta teams.
And can you really blame him, though, because Zeta Division 0 has 2 world champion players. Both Tensai and Choppy are residing on this roster. They are immortalized in Brawl Stars history in the Rise Up to the Top song. We hear Choppy on the Ruffs as well, Tensai on the Max, Let's Go, and all of that fun stuff. But, I mean, we haven't gotten to see too much of the Max from the guys. I think it's just, a little bit too intimidating. Everyone knows that you got to ban Max, you got to beat Max versus these dudes. And I think that also speaks volumes about just how much respect they command when they load into a game. You don't let them get particular brawlers. They have a reputation that precedes them, and it's absolutely deserved. They are going to double match point. Either team is one game away from taking the victory and heading on to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, we are watching some replays right now, guys. Don't get overexcited just yet. We'll keep you guys up to date with everything that's happening, but I mean, for obvious reasons, everyone behind the scenes is making sure that everyone can compete on a fair footing with no problems on the technical side, so that we can have that final game we deserve and determine who between Zeta Division 0 and Chasmac Gaming PR will be making it to the quarterfinals and who goes home. Again, both teams have had incredible results in the past. Zeta Division 0, no need to even mention their achievements. I'll still do it. World champions of 2021. So, yeah, the expectations are there. Two of their players, as you mentioned, it's Tensai and Chappie that were world champions just last year. But on the side of CMG, they also have two players that made it to top 4 last year. I think they even made it to top 4 in 2020 as well, but that goes way back. Still, incredibly experienced teams, teams that have achieved a lot as well, and yet one of them is going home top 16 today. One of them is moving on to the quarters. Wow, the pressure is up.
The pressure is on, and there's a whole lot at stake as well, simply because the entire year's worth of effort could be laid to rest right here and now. After all of these games, it's come down to a single game. And in knockout, it's going to come down to a single round. Your death is going to be permanent.
I heard some information from production. Don't want to cut you down, but you'll want to hear this. We are going back into the final game, double match point. It's going to be same everything, right? Same brawlers, same draft. Just that final game is going to be replayed as they were not able to play it through. Wow. I mean, again, just want to say it one more time. How much is on the line here for both teams? They've grinded true in and true out this 2022 season in their home regions. Zeta Division 0, that was East Asia for CMG, Brazil, obviously, South America, so Latin South. A lot of expectations on both sides, and the fans at home for both of those regions are going to be biting their nails as right now CMGBR are the last representatives of Latin South, the final hope for Latin, and they've made them proud, we know that for sure, but can they actually make it happen? Can they take down Zeta Division 0, or is Zeta gonna full-on reverse sweep them? Wow, what a storyline, Reddy.
Dude, at this point, the nerves are getting to me too. Like, I'm feeling the second-hand nerves as well, because it has been going on. How long has it been since we have had a double match point that is extended over probably like 10 minutes now? The pressure has to be mounting. Who is able to deal with it best? It's no longer a game of adaptation. It is a game of focus in being able, in zen, and being able to calm yourself down, not let the pressure get to you, not let the nerves, the huge crowd that we have at this venue get to you either. It's going to be a tough one for both sides.
Absolutely. So this entire match has been a tough one for both sides. We've had some really one-sided games, some more one-sided sets too, but then some incredible brawl and close games. And so far this final set seems to be the closest one as well. I think one of the big challenges when you have such a sort of technical issue in the final set as well at double match point is who has enough ice in their veins, who can keep their calm and get back in that situation with the momentum they had earlier, with the mood, with the concentration that they had, because now it's been a couple of minutes and both teams are, you know, the temps are gonna be getting a little bit colder and their minds might not be quite as fresh, but they only got one shot, they only got one game, and we are jumping in. Zeta Division 0 versus Chasmac Gaming BR, the final game.
It's all come to a head here. Deaths could be permanent. And Firecrow is already setting his sights on one target in particular. Tensai, he's going to get pitched in really hard. No, right, down goes Pekka. Firecrow's going for it. Unfortunately, trips up. That gets him to the side. Down goes Firecrow too. Kuro goes for it. Amazing bounce play. And Tufa falls. Round 1 goes to Zeta 0.
The trick shot from Kuro connects, and now we have Zeta Division 0 again on the verge of taking this match. Chasmac, they fought valiantly in the previous game to take it back and bring it to double match point. A homing recipe connects onto a Chappie. quite low HP, but able to reset and heal back up. Then side, a bit lonely in the mid, but does always have that super to get straight into the air and back to safety if need be. This is intense because Shazmak have no map control whatsoever. Can they find some sort of a pinch, some sort of relief here? As right now, Zeta are looking devastated.
Chompy has a super as well. Давай, ульту, давай, ульту. Low health, not really anywhere to go. Tenside's going for it. Becca taking so much damage, a kill and a two-fight Becca. Zeta Division 0, they're headed on to the quarterfinals.
They have done it. Zeta Division 0 knock out CMGBR as they will be moving forward to the quarterfinals and remove the final chance here for Latam South to redeem themselves. Got it. You can see it from their faces, how much passion goes into it. And you gotta feel for them. You gotta feel for them because that was an incredible performance from Chasman. Wow, I'm still at a loss of words, honestly, because that's one of the best performances we have seen from them ever. And it's in a round of 16 that knocks them out of the running for those World Finals 2022. But huge respect to them. Zeta, man, all the way until the end. You can never count them out. And that is not only the first match that goes all the way to set 5, not only the first match that goes all the way to double match point, it's the full first reverse sweep of the World Finals 22. And what other team to do it than Zeta Division 0?
Zeta Division 0 and their sister team, they're now locked in those quarterfinals, facing versus both of the Chasmag sister teams too. A valiant effort that was posed yesterday, but a seriously impressive one that completely blew us away from Chasmag Gaming VR here. Just amazing stuff from this team. In fact, both of them as well, but only one victor can head on into the next round, unfortunately. And it means that the hopes of Latam South, for now, are laid to rest.
Yeah, it's gonna have to wait for the World Finals 2023. Unfortunately for Latam South, as all of their representatives have been sent home. Or they're still in Paris having fun, enjoying Disneyland, hanging out with all the homies from the other teams, but they're not gonna be competing anymore. And it's sad. We've pretty much always had a Latam South team make it quite far into our World Finals bracket, but this year it's not quite gonna be the case. Wow, what a start of the day already. Just in case you guys missed it, Tribe Gaming EU 3-0 at Zest. But honestly, Zest, they played fantastic. That was the performance of the year from Zest. But yeah, Tribe Gaming EU, they managed to reverse sweep 2 sets in a row. And in the end, they took that match quite nicely. For Zeta Division 0 versus Chasman Gaming Brazil, that was the closest match yet at the World Finals. If you look upwards in the bracket, mostly 3-0s and 3-1. And 1-3-1, that 3-2 there, that was one stacked match. And one we didn't really see coming. Most people, I mean, you guys at home said 85% said Zeta Division 0 will take it. Well, I mean, I'm sad for the 15% of you that saw the potential of Chasmag, but you guys can still be very, very proud of your prediction as well, because you pretty much got it right. They were so close to make it happen.
2 matches done already, 2 to come very, very soon. It has been an exhilarating day through and through, but we're only halfway through. We're going to be going to a quick break, and we'll come back with the next 2 matches in day 2 of the Brawl Stars World Finals.
Смотрите, какая потрясающая реакция была на игру Жиру после матча со Смотрителем и какая реакция сейчас. Третья игра, наверное, станет определяющей, но будет ли против четвертого, да? Вы только что это узнали. В общем, сможет Жиру обыграть серии Omlet по количеству забитых мячей со стороны Брasta в этом чемпионате мира, совсем скоро узнаем. Но вот это разговор. Смотрите, Omlet Жиру, на ваш взгляд.
The 2022 Brawl Stars World Finals are back, ladies and gentlemen. Pardon us for that. It's an insane day of games so far. We're glad to be back here myself, Mitch Leslie, here joined by Ark. That last match definitely not going the way we expected it to. Really impressed to see the moxie, the pluckiness of that Chazmac Gaming VR team, but sadly, they fall just short.
It was so exciting, wasn't it? I mean, it really was. Chazmac Gaming VR coming out swinging and showing us that no one in this competition is invincible.
Yeah, let's have a look back at the bracket review and see how we got to where we are now, because there's still 2 more games left in this round of 16. Today, first up, of course, we saw Tri Gaming EU take down Zest, and then that absolute barn burner between Zeta Division 0 and Chazmac Gaming Brazil. Incredible match, one we won't soon forget. But there's more of those in store for us, because coming right up is Tri Gaming NA going up against Navi, and then Reconic Esports take on SK Gaming.
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting one. But Tribe Gaming NA and Navi, they are very closely matched. There's a lot of support for Navi as well, so they're going to have a ton of support in that respect. I don't know, it's going to be a very close one to call.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, now we've been looking ahead, of course, at our predictions and towards our potential quarterfinal matchups. Now, we've been pretty safe so far with our predictions, almost getting completely boomed in that match number 6. But this next one, this is where we tend to disagree. Teddy being the lone dissident, and you can kind of see where he's coming from. We are dealing with, in Navi, last year's grand finalist, coming in second place runner-up, really impressive team. And they had a slow start this year, right? They got folded into that EMEA region a little bit later on, but they made up for lost time pretty quickly.
Exactly that. You know, Navi have got that World Finals experience at the latest possible stage. But in terms of a land setting, that's where Tribe Gaming NA have a bit of an edge. Now, for Tribe Gaming NA, you know, it was a really fantastic flying start to the year. Towards the end, there was some results along the way in September and August that weren't great for them. So it's about having left that in the past, coming in fresh here today, and reminding themselves of who they are.
Yeah, again, look, we start to see a lot more parity become established in the North America and LATAM North region, right? Especially teams like Vatra Gaming turning up. This Tribe team losing to Obey Alliance of all teams in the most recent sort of monthly final quarterfinals. Definitely an upset loss for them, and they're starting to realize, hang about, the rest of the field here is looking really competitive in North America. We spent much of yesterday talking up Vatra Gaming because of how insane they've been over the second part of the season. NA is getting stronger and stronger. Tribe have to stay afloat.
Yeah, you know, they are a team with so much experience behind them, and that counts for a great deal. You know, the last couple of results weren't the
best, let's be honest, but nonetheless, it's being able to pick yourselves up, and that's what's important.
And of course, for a team like Tribe NA, their LAN experience is basically unparalleled. These guys have been around the block quite a few times, and they're here to run it back once more. So let's head down to the stage, bring them out.
Et oui, on est au milieu de la scène. Il y a une très bonne ambiance. Je suis au milieu de supporters de Tribe, donc on va devoir la faire en anglais. C'est un petit peu obligé. For all of you guys, this is good vibes right here. The Tribe gaming crowd is absolutely insane. I have no idea if you guys can hear me, but you know what? I think it's time to say welcome. Their colleagues from Europe won earlier. It's time to welcome the kings of NA, Tribe Gaming!
Tribe Gaming NA really have proved themselves to be the powerhouse of the North America and LATAM North region. Zulan, Libby, Tyrants and Corey have set the precedent for dominance with 5 grand final appearances and 4 grand final wins under their belts. With a whopping 965 points earned throughout the year, they towered over their rivals and are no strangers to the World Finals, looking to make it third time lucky to get their hands on that BSC trophy.
Some harsh lessons learned recently by your March, May, July and August NA and LATAM North monthly champions, Tribe NA, has started to realise that in order to stay afloat, in order to stay ahead of the pack, they had to come up with something different. Libby really infusing this team with some youth and more vivacity. But let's now get ready to meet Tribe's opponents.
Et on est toujours là, on a raté, on ne pouvait pas avoir que du Tribe, on l'a refait en anglais. We couldn't have only Tribe, right? We need some Navi fans to welcome one of the big teams as well. That's going to be a massive one. Massive noise, max of noise for Navi!
Navi came into the competition a little later than others, but boy, did they make up for some lost time. MMA, Cubic, Angel Boy and Alex have a fan following to move mountains and hold a reputation to match. The 2021 World Finals, they made the grand final, but fell just short of the 8th division. Nonetheless, being within an arm's reach of gold only serves to add fuel to the fire, and through constant growth in this year's competition, they're coming in hot.
Natus Vincera means born to win in Latin, and this team has been on the rise. 2 second-place finishes in the September and October monthly finals. Yes, they start a little bit late over in the EMEA region, but they turn up with a bang. Previously, just dominating that EECA region, right? Felt like Navi head and shoulders above the rest, didn't have the competition, but these big fish jumped into an even bigger pond, and they still stay afloat. That's what you love to see. And they're here to show the world that EMEA reigns supreme.
Yeah, exactly. I love to watch constant progression in any competition, and that's what Navi have really demonstrated. You know, they came in a bit late, but that didn't deter them. Their results in those early monthly finals weren't great, some quarterfinal exits, but towards the end, getting to that grand final, despite coming a little bit short, you know, to Tribe Gaming EU in that final month, they still made it consistently there, and I feel like they are coming in a very, very good place. Their mindset has got to be on point here today.
Special moment for this Navi team who had to attend the World Finals last year remotely, right? The lights, the action, the crowd, the energy was something that was foreign to them in that occasion, and they performed really well. Now the question is, what happens when we plonk you in the middle of the maelstrom that is our Disneyland Paris World Finals? That's the question. A lot of fans behind this Navi team, and they're really hard not to like. Their sort of antics in the post-game, we see them on camera all the time, especially sort of shutting out SK Gaming in that October monthly final. They won 3-2. SK were put in a position where they have to try and reverse sweep, and they kind of shut them out. On Tribe's side of things, I do want to see what they've been working on here, because they've definitely been on shakier ground. I really do think it's less about them falling off, but more about the rest of the region, you know, moving up. And that's what they say, a rising tide lifts all ships. And you better hope that Tribe Gaming have got their floaties on.
Yeah, it was, you know, a tough September for Tribe Gaming NA, losing in that semi-finals to Batra, that 2-3, and again in October, losing in the quarterfinals
Finals, it started to dwindle down, but then again, they had been the first team in the region to qualify for the World Finals. They can afford to take things a little bit easier, but for Navi, it was a constant battle all the way until the end. And the draft now coming in. Let's see, Piper Band, Bonnie Band, and Colette on the side of Tribe Gaming in A. Bridge, the map Bridge Too Far, Ice coming in. Carl, Max, and Daryl Band now by Navi.
Characterized by these really long lanes. We saw what Daryl can do on this kind of map right earlier on. If you leave him alone with your safe, it's going to be blown to smithereens. Recalling Rotator is ridiculous and sort of working that down and is very, very scary. If it's going to charge more of those supers up, teams will have to 1v2 that Daryl, give up the mid lane and just sort of try and collapse the side lane to answer that threat. So pretty prescient selection to ban here, and Carl also. Navi don't want any of these shenanigans. This team is really aggressive. They have some really wacky takes on the metagame and sort of what to draft. That's what sort of makes this extra exciting. And MMA is up there on the stage. That's a rarity for this team.
Yeah, it's going to make a difference when it comes to the draft. First pick going to be coming in soon. I love 8-bit on this map. I think that B also can have some great value. Despite that Daryl being banned, it's still going to pack a punch. Brock going to come in. That's going to allow for some interesting dynamics within that mid. Being able to break everything open, and Eve therefore as well, you know, coming in on the side of Tribe. They're going to utilize a lot of their maneuverability on this map. There's a lot of water in which Eve can get a lot of value from just her natural abilities on this particular map. But it's going to be a long-range game, no doubt about it. And the bands of Pipe coming in, and there's the 8-bit for Tribe. You know, if you get that 8-bit in range of the safe, put the damage booster down, maybe even have a damage gear rolling in as well. You know, extra credits is going to get a lot of value on him.
Against sharpshooter-heavy compositions, Eve Super Baby Boom is actually quite powerful. Their low fire rate of sharpshooters makes it hard for them to deal with those sort of baby Eves that start to run at you. So that's definitely something worth considering. Provides a lot of pressure, and on a map like Bridge Too Far, it's very easy to hatch those, right? Throw that back behind you, keep it safe, and then set up in a big way. 8-bit is crucial. You can make those forays forward, right? Maybe go overextend, you could say a little bit, get that safe pressure, and then back up. Lola getting locked in next.
I like that from Navi. It's one that they have gone to time and time again, and it is going to have a great deal of area spray, and there's always something to have on the left or right hand side lane that can really scout those bushes for you and seek out and destroy. Third and final pick for Navi coming in, and it's going to be a risky time for them. They haven't really got much choice in the tank, and they're going to play a huge risk. Colt coming in. What a draft for Navi, but here's the thing about Colt, it can get some tremendous taps, but you've got to land those shots, and that is where Tribe Gaming NA can make it very, very difficult in that respect, and make sure those jukes are really on point.
Yeah, Colt obviously weaker against enemies that can strafe effectively, or brawlers with high speed, but these lanes are really quite confined, so if you're just firing straight down the lane, it can be pretty hard to avoid the brunt of this damage, because there's like an environmental destruction potential with Silver Bullet. Bell getting locked in here, probably not a huge surprise. Also, no speed against Lola, right? Either, you know, connect onto that Ego or Lola, get the shock bouncing back and forth, get extra damage, and also a bit of pressure. And again, one of the few sharpshooters left available at this point in the draft.
And that's why I'm kind of surprised that Navi went with the Colt, because more often than not, when you see a Lola drafted, the follow-up is normally the counter to it. And it may have helped them out a little bit, and Tribe have got themselves in a good spot. The thing about the 8-bit, though, is the fact that, in terms of maneuverability, much slower. Therefore, Colt shots can land far more effectively. So Zulan is going to have to get those turrets coming in really, really quick.
What do you make of this double lane on the left-hand side from Navi?
I mean, now the bell shots are starting to ricochet between the two. I think they're going to start to second-guess it. But S-Livy is connecting so nicely on his own, and MMA jumping through, straight to the shots of Zulan. He gets taken down, and now damage gear, plus extra credits onto the safe.
That is bizarre. Rocket Lace is used to go across the lane and try and fight an 8-bit up close and personal. The guy is hefty.
You can't do that against an 8-bit. You know, you can't. Now MMA being marked up in the mid. It's a concern, and the double right-hand side lane takedown was beautiful there for Tribe. As Livy can't quite find the shot on MMA, but Zulan, once again, coming in with some great damage, and look at this scoreline. In fact, Navi have done a pretty decent job themselves of getting some, you know, on their own.
Yeah, good pressure from that left-hand side lane at the start of the round now. Tyron's hatching something. Let's see if it's a nasty plot or a goose egg. Shot down the middle here. Tyron's able to keep a little bit of space, but Navi's safe is pretty darn low. MMA under pressure once more as Livy starts to posture forward. Here come Tyron and Co. And Zulan doesn't care about giving up his life. That's tons of damage. 14% on the safe.
Now Tribe having to try to slow the advance here. It's going to be a tough right-hand side lane, but Angel Boy goes low. A great takedown there from his Livy, and he's getting the shots on point. Tyra comes in, it is done. The first game goes the way of Tribe.
We foreshadowed this a little bit about Na'Vi, right? Some of their drafts and some of their executions are kind of wild. And we just don't see much of MMA. Very much a spiritual leader for this team, right? A real captain's captain. But coming in here again, a lot of pressure on him to deliver that same brand that we maybe saw from him last year. Tough start for Na'Vi.
Okay. Well, and Na'Vi need to learn a little bit about that early game approach. And Tyra does win the lane, 45 HP to his name. Great stuff from him, but the juke on top of that, and the pickup. My word, Tyrant, that was lovely.
Again, if you can juke those cold shots, he starts to become pretty vulnerable. Tyrant really laying claim towards the middle part of the map there. Love that little jump from him. Eventually will fall down to the incendiary field. MMA has to use rocket laces to get away, but as Livy is pressuring this right-hand side, Cubic tries to stand up to Zulan, and the pressure is decent, but reinforcements are on the way.
Yeah, just keeping Na'Vi mismarked though there from his Livy. The shots will ricochet though between both Angel Boy and the safe, and yeah, continuing to do just that. The spray down from Cubic is connecting onto Zulan, and Zulan is shooting for his life. He does go down. Now, can Na'Vi get out of this spawn and start to return some of this damage?
A lot of pressure now being applied to Tyrant as Angel Boy has knocked down some of those barriers in the middle part of the map. Na'Vi begin to smell that blood in the water. They like the staying power to keep pressuring down. MMA takes a salvo. He's so low, and now Tyrant's trying to guess where he is. He guesses right.
Beautiful stuff. Honestly, Tribe are looking like they just have so much synergy right now. They're picking up the pieces every now and again, struggling to find Na'Vi within the bush, but when they do, it's swift and quick takedowns. Tyrant now able to focus his attention onto the safe, and we haven't really seen much from Na'Vi in this round. That's a concern.
Tyrant is getting everything he wants in this middle part of the map right now. Well, fast track back to spawn in that case, but still, as Livy's able to make the trade respond, Cubic got to get pressure from the backside. It's to waste a couple shots on those Evelings as they pressure down. Another damage amplifier from Zulan here. Really just to try and block some of these shots as Cubic lays it on thick. It's not enough though. Here comes Zulan posturing aggressively. It's 27 and counting on the safe. And Tyrant will stand once the smoke clears.
Yeah, it's kind of didn't quite position himself there with the incendiary, but he had a great advantage to be able to get those shots. Nonetheless, though, I think the Tribe have done enough for now, and Na'Vi with no time really, except for Angel Boy all on his own. This one's done. Tribe Gaming NA are going to take this first set, and they looked very comfortable in doing so.
Something unexpected there from Na'Vi out of the draft. Cool, calm and collected with Tribe, though. Picking composition really silent to that kind of map. The Eve through mid from Tyrant as well. Not something we see all the time, but anytime you can get value, him being able to cross lanes, collapse as well on them if he has to. Really love those looks here. Zulan on the 8-bit. Again, putting himself up front and center in many of those fights and just saying, hey, I've got a large health pool, come at me. I'm going to try and get pressure down on your safe. Strong fundamentals there from Tribe, really getting the motive line.
Yeah, it was a risky draft as well, wasn't it, from Na'Vi, and that little play there. Questionable, ultimately, and allowing Zulan just to kind of go in for free, and just didn't really time their runs effectively in that respect. And a lot of the shots, not the accuracy of Tribe, landing the mark, and as we see there, the energy of Tribe giving NA always shining through, and as things get more and more progressively through, Zulan is going to get louder and louder.
He's a guy that really starts to play to the crowds, really starts to feel the energy. This Tribe team is a pretty disappointing MSI run for them. They definitely expected more. Falling to SK Gaming in those semis. They are still very, very hungry, and I think this really tells much of the story here as Livy having a fantastic go of it on Bell.
Yeah, Tribe have been known in the past to gain a little bit too much confidence too soon.
Sure.
I'm not going to necessarily bring up last year too much because I'm sure when they watch back the VOD it might be that.
You'll hear about it.
No thumbs down here today. But nonetheless, that's the start that you want to have at the World Finals. You really want to come in and make your mark. It gives you that confidence going into the second. It's a tough spot for Na'Vi. This is a LAN experience which they're not used to having. So being behind now is going to mean they're going to have that little bit of time to have those team talks to discuss what they need to change going in to dueling Beatles.
Yeah, really curious. Looking at the stage here, of course, MMA's still there. Na'Vi have surplus players, of course. Player roster for this team. On the side of Tribe, obviously Corey definitely stepping more into that coach analytical role, supporting that team. leveraging his leadership ability. Straight away, Penny's going to be locked away. Pretty popular pick here.
Navi really love to run Penny. I mean, I remember my first conversation with them regarding draft, and they took it a little bit personal. But Penny here can do some great and wondrous things. The bans on the side of Tribe being Poco, I think, are smart. Banning Poco against Tribe, against Navi, you have to do that. You really do. The Stu as well, you know, getting rid of some aggression, and of course Buster, we know full well what that can achieve. Janet going to come in for Tribe, gaming NA. Some great value for it, and B as well to back it up, just in the eventuality that Navi brings some tanks, which they are known to do.
Yeah, take a great all-rounder first here with Janet. Start to sculpt your draft a little bit with something a little bit longer range. The B, obviously great. Hunting molasses can be such a problem, especially if you're able to push up and you have the advantage. And then you can round it out. You can kind of see what Navi go for. Now at least you have the chance to sort of preempt that last pick, the wacky one, right? As a Colt was locked in earlier on by Navi. Tribe maybe prefer to be in this position now. Obviously, we sort of mentioned a couple times, we've seen a little bit of Buster here, but he's just not something that Tribe want to deal with. Bell, though, is on the table and snapped up.
And I really do like that pick. Bell now with the reload gear coming into play is just a real force to be reckoned with. The nest eggs as well onto the zone can deter you and take away valuable time that you just simply do not have in dueling beetles. It's quite a tough one. Crow coming in for Navi. It's daring. It's kind of dropped a little bit away from the meta, but obviously with the slowing toxin, it is going to allow for those Bell and Penny shots to land the mark and just get that all-important value in.
Especially if you're in a scenario where you have to retake, right, and the defending team has to expose themselves to your Crow to some degree. The slowing toxins can be pretty straightforward to hit. Now, it's not an all-in, you know, composition after the fact, but like you mentioned, slow targets are easy meat for Cubic and MMA on those picks. Oh. Sprout gonna be knocked in here. Corey sat on the bench like, that could be me, bro.
I mean, also with the slowing toxin, that Penny turret is going to land more shots during that time as well. So I hope that whoever's playing it on the side of Navi just time that perfectly. But Sprout can really just shut everything down here. I mean, with the lack of wall break, which Navi have gone in and taken a bit of a risk with, I think that Levy, if he's on that Sprout, or whoever it is going to get a ton of value. And you know, you get to really just shut off most of the map here. But you've got to earn it and just keep it cycling in, and that can sometimes be challenging.
So the right first steps have been taken by Tribe NA, but there still needs to be a conversion on the series. MMA will be trying to man the middle part of the map here as Tyrant, as we expected, attends. It's Libby, of course, as well. Notice here that Tribe aren't really spreading out into a lane to have to deal with Cubic. They're really trying to opt out of going one-to-one with him for the time being. MMA is starting to get aggressive, posturing forward, but he's punished instantly by a hedge behind, and Zulan chimes in from the right.
Amplified shot for Zulan. Oh, what a connection. Angel Boy now. Damaged gear, but no HP to really contest the situation. Tyrant. And there's Livy coming through and just positioning himself forward. And Cubic now have to be very, very cautious. That's the cycle you want. Locking out MMA, but actually, it does mean that it doesn't quite get the total coverage that they need.
Drop the base. So frustrated to deal with when you've got no choice but to stand in it and not be able to get healed up. Zulan now starting to get a bit comfortable here. MMA slowed up. The Iron Hive and the shot to follow is good. Cubic has to sheepishly back up as Tribe start to lay it on even thicker. Angel Boy and MMA return. We definitely need to see some value from this Crow.
Yeah, it's really a bit of a struggle so far. Tyrant, though, thinking about going in. Surely MMA is low here. And oh, Cubic. Angel Boy coming through. Nest egg there in the mid, and that's not a bad thing for sure, but now, as Livy needs to get some value, he needs to get some takedowns here to really relieve some pressure. That's a good start. Tyrant behind the situation as well is going to keep some pressure on here. The comeback potential here, spot on. What a retake from Tribe.
Love that. Tyrant being absolutely obnoxious in the backline, he requiring Navi to commit 2 players in order to remove him. That opens the way for Tribe to move up onto the hot zone and start ticking up once more. Iron Hive doesn't connect, but the empowered shot does. Zulan in a very comfortable spot now. Hence is going to force Navi back, and it's 86 and counting for the time being. MMA wants to push up here. Now looking for a flank, but as Livy is keeping him under the thumb for the entire round. Tyrant shots are coming in, and it's a trade at best for MMA, not what he's looking for. Tyrant now wants to try and extricate himself from the situation as Cubic and Angel Boy are looking imperious on the point.
Well, I think the Tribe, they can just get a little bit here and there. It's only 11% needed. What a takedown there from Zulan just to relieve a little bit of pressure. But Navi have done a wondrous job so far. Now the Penny turret is starting to connect in for 3% now, and Tyrant with a lovely takedown.
will take the game. Na'Vi are getting beaten in the middle of the map for a second set in a row. Really struggling to take control of that hot zone out of that sort of one instance. As Livy is an absolute menace on this Sprout.
It's a great third and final pick, isn't it? It really is. And Na'Vi is struggling with it. Just maybe could have got in with something else to free things up. Oh, the value of that. Cubic left on 30 HP, and now everyone able to focus their attention on both Angel Boy and Cubic. Tyron goes down, but that ball is just going to keep cycling in as Livy is getting so much value from this Sprout.
And some free time on the point there, obviously, after that hedge came out. Now is Livy a bit more of a vulnerable position, but Tyron chimes in instantly. And Angel Boy has tried to make a lane swap here to find a better angle. But Zulan has eluded him thus far. Oh my! Dropped the base, actually almost claiming the life there of that bell. Na'Vi going to have Angel Boy sit in the bleachers for the time being, to return only when two of his teammates are down. This is devastating for Na'Vi.
Tyron is being a tyrant right now, isn't he? He's forcing Na'Vi to the right-hand side into the path and the firing range of Zulan. He has a super, he gets that connection to Mistmark. Angel Boy is going to be costly too. Penny Tyrant not going to connect as everyone on the side of Tribe keeping themselves moving. And now almost 20% left, and this set is Tribe's.
Cubic trying to move up here. But again, at best, it's a 2v3 for Na'Vi for much of the round. Always lacking that one player. And Angel Boy again eats another one from Zulan, dominating the right side lane. Tyrant's going to fly away in celebration as Tribe rack up another one.
It is looking like a red day so far. No sign, really, of any black and yellow. Going into this next set, Na'Vi are going to have to start to make some changes. Their drafts at the moment for me is where that starts, and just kind of not foreseeing what is to come, you know, and keeping their options open a little bit, some risky ideas. At the moment, I don't mind risk as long as it starts to pay off.
It's been a tumultuous year for this Na'Vi team, right? I mean, you think about their situation just in many of their personal lives at the start of the year and in the last few months, and then obviously coming into the EMEA region a little late, sort of having to play catch up with everybody else, getting wins against SK, Team Kaizo, Chasmac EU in the Snapdragon Challenge recently. This team is a high caliber powerhouse. The fact is they're not able to show it against the best from NA and LATAM North.
Tribe Gaming, of course, you know, came second in the Season 1 of Snapdragon Pro Series. Now, he didn't quite qualify for Season 2 this time around for those Challenge Finals. And look at there, there's Livy, 9 to the 6 and the 6 of Tyron and Zulan. But on the side of Na'Vi, just one singular takedown for MMA, one singular takedown for Cubic. And Angel Boy was doing a lot of those heavy lifting there. I just worry a little bit for Na'Vi at this stage. We haven't really seen enough resolve so far, and Tribe's confidence now is just kind of growing and growing.
Look, you know, don't blame MMA, personally, for not racking up a ton of those kills. He definitely wants to facilitate with that slowing toxin, but even when he wants to commit, when he wants to dive in with that swoop, he's getting blown up instantly. Maybe not being able to read the room as well as he'd like to, or just get a feel for just how much damage Tribe can output here. But this is last chance saloon. Na'Vi have one more opportunity to show us what they're made of. Are they going home?
Going into Sneaky Fields then, and this is a Na'Vi map really, and a Na'Vi game mode. It's going to cater a lot to some tanks, some heal, you know, no max ban as well, no Poco ban. Ash is a good one though for Tribe and bringing in the M's. I mean, it's a very underrated pick for that mid lane. It's going to be under so much control, and you know, it is susceptible to barrel rolls and that kind of thing, but it can also hold those things at bay. So I do like this heading so far for Tribe. It's a nice, safe, early kind of pick. And I think Na'Vi, though, have got a lot of options here. Ultimately, I would go with the max myself.
I mean, even among Brawl Ball maps, Sneaky Fields is pretty unique, right? Just for the amount of foliage that sort of envelops it here. So for that reason, we've seen a lot of brawlers sort of cater to that. Maybe Amber to try and sort of remove some of that. Buster got through the ban phase. Na'Vi snap pick him up.
Yeah, rightly so, isn't it? It's just, this comp is starting to speak Na'Vi to me already, and that gives me some confidence. They combine this with Poco, then Tribe could be in with a bit of trouble. I mean,
here's a question for you.
Counter.
Does Montage reflect Em's spray?
Good question, actually. Yeah. It should.
right?
Yeah, it's only a throw as intend to, so yeah. It's still early days, of course, for Buster, but yeah, it should do.
Keep an eye out for that one. And Gale's interesting. We've seen Gale get really punished when he's picked early in the order, when he falls down all of those sort of more ranged brawlers. But this is the kind of map where tough to have that kind of success. It also means that there's like a preemptive answer to tanks, and also if Ems wants to try and come up with a caustic charisma and actually start to put some pressure down. What is the Lou?
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's a great counter to Buster. It is. North America and Latam North have kind of been the first region that I've watched really start to tackle the Buster problem. And it was very interesting to watch just a couple of weeks ago when I saw it, but it actually did make a lot of sense. And Tribe Gaming and A just demonstrating just how on the ball they are when it comes to how to handle a really tough brawler like Buster. But it is a very strange comp, from Tribe. There's not much to kind of have in terms of synergy, but Ruffs could be the answer to that question. Just having some support there to keep everyone packing that punch.
I will say, pretty darn close range composition here for Na'Vi, so Ruffs definitely must feel pretty decent for Tribe, give them more of an opportunity to keep Na'Vi at arm's length. And big question for me is, what is his last pick here? What do we go for here? Cubic and Angel Boy obviously already locking in. Not sure where Alex is. He's looking on from the sidelines for the time being. What do we have here now?
There you go. Love it. Yes, absolutely so. I mean, Buster is already a very nerve-wracking thing to see coming straight towards you down that right or left-hand side lane. Having Max add that to the mix, and you are really going to be in a tough spot. And in a game mode like Brawl Ball, that is going to provide so much aggression. Navi are all about that. We've yet to kind of see that from them today, and that's why I've been a bit worried. But now I'm feeling a bit better about this.
Remember, Buster charges his super when he's close to teammates, and that star power lets him do more damage when there's teammates close by. Already, he explodes forward and blows Tyrant to smithereens. This is already going from bad to worse here for Tribe. Zulan having to get that super down and recover the ball. That was shaky, though.
Yeah, but I did like the way that Zulan approached it, and Tribe just got to be a bit more cautious again. Oh, what a double stump from MMA. Beautiful teamwork there from Navi. Can they get the ball? No, just going to play it slow. But as now Cubic comes back in, it does lead to some potential great break as well. Tyrant going to open up some space.
The speed gear is so scary on Buster here. He can run you down so quickly as he starts to approach. Here's Livy now, getting a lot of scouting done, of course, with that primary fire. All of Na'Vi forced to try and leave the grassy area. But that ball is still in that corner here. Tribe looking to try and gain an advantage before they really start to move up. Zulan now retrieving the ball.
Again, MMA standing out as Livy and leaving him like a sitting duck there. Cubic coming through as well. The pass can be there. It is. Will the goal happen? There's the friend zone coming in though, and the super follow-up. Beautiful defense from Tribe.
Yeah, love the knockback there from that Ems gadget. Gives just enough breathing room to make sure the bus is breathing nothing but fumes. Again, as Livy wants to try and hold them down on this right-hand side. Ball has moved up here. Montage from Cubic now, but Tribe went pawn yesterday. They knew to hold their shots. Cubic is going to struggle there.
Tyrant's pushing forwards. Supply drop pickup is also there, but it's Livy getting a ton of value there. But MMA can put down a twister here. He probably will do. He's spying his time, doesn't want to bait out too early. I do like that strategy, and there's not really much the Tribe can do here unless they try to go on the aggressive, try to focus their attention on Cubic and Angel Boy.
That's a nice little super there. Only as Livy caught with a stun, but it does pave the way. Angel Boy wanted to move up, but Cubic got taken down by Tyrant in the meantime. Now this supply drop starting to really have an impact, ramping up the lethality from the Tribe squad. No score yet with 25 seconds left in the round, and again, overtime definitely on the table.
You've got to admire the patience of MMA. He really is holding up this game so far. Tribe are in a position where they're trying to bait out the gadget, and he's just not giving them an inch. He knows they can utilize that in overtime as we're going into that in 10 seconds. Speed at just the right time, the ball coming through. Can they make something of this opportunity now for Navi?
Zulan tries to go for the super. Going to be harder and harder to get value from that now. As Livy with the ball as we move up the middle of the map. And Cubic has Montage available, looking for Angel Boy, of course. Let's Go's popped, and Na'Vi start to spread a little bit. Montage now being used as Livy's going to be forced into the background. Causely Charisma used, but it's not going to be enough. Angel Boy's able to find the kill, but Tyrant's there. MMA's a little bit low, this close from being frozen, but he's able to dodge the shots for the time being. Can barely say the same for Angel Boy. He and Tyrant leave each other black and blue.
Now the speed coming in, and that is a concern, but as Livy just knows to spray down that ball and try to deter the situation. it's going to be so close, but I feel like Navi have got some good momentum. If Angel Boy goes down, though, that could change things. Cubic as well needs the speed to back up, and he does go down. A great opportunity, but can Tribe seize this?
Cubic might have to try and force back here with the super. Yeah, he pops it straight away, sends it in this direction. Cubic will fall now. 7 seconds left in the round. Angel Boy's going to force them back, and a score is unlikely at this stage. 2 seconds to go. No super shot for Angel Boy. There won't be a conversion. That first round ends in a draw.
I've got to be honest, I felt like when Navi was setting up going into overtime, they were going to try to go for that goal-scoring opportunity. It felt a bit strange to me that they just kind of left the ball out there for Tribe to do something with, and maybe they just felt like they didn't have the utility they needed to go on the aggressive, but nonetheless, I just felt like that was a good opportunity missed, but a chance to reset, and that's going to be arguably more so in favour of Tribe, actually.
Really feel like MMA's had the better of Livy a lot of the time in the side lane, punishing with that Gale Force, getting stun connection. MMA's able to sort of turf him out, push him back towards his side of the map. Can do, pop by Zulan. Cubic now trying to pinch, and as Livy's going to go down, this is looking scary now. It's only going to be Tyrant standing. Cubic walks it on in, or at least it will. Needs to send a message first. Message received.
Yeah, it's great to waste that bit of time because you just never know at the end of the game how it's going to fare. And Tribe are going head first towards the goal, and that is the thing which prevents it from happening. It's going to be money in the bank. But they are behind now, under pressure. Cubic with a great positioning over this Livy there, and a very swift takedown. Beautiful stuff. Angel Boy coming through. Cubic, oh, but a misplay! The misplay is a missed opportunity. Big time for Navi. That is showing me a sign of nerves.
Not the kind of moment Navi would like to remember. In fact, I'm sure they're going to put it behind him as quick as possible. Another super here from Zulan. MMA definitely steps outside the ring. Normally steps into the ring in his personal life, but a mix-up here. MMA again with Gale Force in hand. Tribe have to play more assertively here, but they're scared of just running into Buster randomly amongst this grass. Cubic as well is able to stay outside of that super, but it creates some space here for Tribe. It's going!
Cool, we're nowhere to go, and throws now as well. Can this Livy get this ball forwards enough? Because MMA can twist it, and he does do it at the perfect time, but the amount of momentum isn't enough. Tribe will score!
The twister was there, it was perfect in fact, but as Livy just recovers the ball and makes the perfect shot to that left corner. Now things get a little bit interesting. Angel Boy gets caught out there by Tyrant. We've got 27 seconds left.
This is a great chance for Tribe to get their supers rolling. As soon as the boxes go down, try to get that shot off. And Tyrant in a great position here. If he gets down MMA, that's a great person to have out of the mix there. The speed from Angel Boy going on the aggressive. The ball passed through from his Livy. Lovely timing on that, and just taking their time to score as Tribe giving an A. Move on to match point.
Let's talk about some of the tough moments for Navi there. They really hold on. Big missed opportunity here.
Yeah, we said, didn't we, like looking back, it was going to be a costly one, and that was the moment there. And
could have ended the round right there.
Yeah, possibly so. I mean, it was one of those moments that goes to show the LAN experience difference, as we were discussing coming in, and Tribe have got that under their belt more so. It's a tough thing. A lot of people here, a lot of pressure.
Must win round for Navi. This might be it for them. Cubic barely hanging on. As Livy also looking pretty haggard there as he's forced to back away. No more second chances for Navi here as Livy goes for that caustic charisma, forcing Cubic back here and also scouting those bushes for anyone else.
Yeah, they're just taking their time. Speed coming in to Navi, and they've got to just make sure that it gets to take us as Livy going to go down here. Mark the ball in a good spot. Tyrant as well can use that super if he needs. Oh, now as well, Junior comes in, but didn't quite grasp it at the same time. I think there wasn't a chance to shoot, but as Livy just coming in and causing a bit of a body block there.
Another Gale Force there, friend zone, forcing MMA back. Cubic starting to converge on them now, but Angel Boy has to back away. Navi can't get both their side lanes in order here. And Cubic's going to flatten his Livy once more. This is dirty stuff.
Cubic going to go in. Oh, Zulan out of position there. A lifeline for Navi.
The audacity of that goal. The no was in disbelief. But Navi hanging on. The only way they know how at this point. Angel Boy punished though on the middle part of the map, getting a little bit too close to Livy and co. Cubic with super. Back into the corner. Tyrant. Oh my goodness, that's a close one.
Well, now they just look to regroup. They would prefer to approach this as a three-piece. Cubic's got his super as well and will use it, but actually cancelled a bit of a misclick there. Great value.
MMA goes for the twisty on the right-hand side, but he's going to get brought down. It's just Cubic. Cubic versus the world. It's not enough. One apiece with 27 seconds left.
Well, Hydro comes in. Tribe know they've got the momentum on their side, and Angel Boy brings in some speed. But Cubic is worried about the threes. He can't go in to Zulan too quickly. MMA with a great stun again. But Cubic can't really push this at the moment. He's open. It's wide open. That was a huge miss. And Tribe Gaming an A will take it home.
What other way for your #1 seed from North America, LATAM North, to finish it in style? Really hotly contested brawl ball set. But for Na'Vi, them coming alive, it was just too late. Ahead of steam built up by Tribe NA, and even with Captain MMA at the fore, it's not enough for the CIS region team.
Very dominant stuff, you know, wasn't it? It was Tribe Gaming NA, just another day back in the office. The energy, the flamboyance of this team and confidence that's going to be going through to that next round. They're looking scary, aren't they? You've got to be honest, they are looking very, very scary.
So important for this Tribe team to start on the front foot after having a frankly awkward last couple of months. They've seen the rest of their own region rise up around them, and I'm sure at times they've questioned, do we still have it takes to dominate at the global level? The answer to that is yes. The EMEA's #5 seed has been vanquished. This squad is starting to look pretty darn scary. They deal so well with the Buster, right? Newer brawler, definitely sometimes can pull off these unexpected moments here. But I love that composure from Tribe, especially when they're down a goal in that previous round against Na'Vi. They fight back in brilliant style. This is extremely exciting Brawl Stars, and I love that finish there from Eslivy. These guys are here to play.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Look at the headphones off as well. You just can't hold back, Zulan. But look at Tyrant there. Oh my word, 18 kills. That's Angel Boy and Cubic put together. He was doing so much work. 241 DPS. Putting in time, putting in work.
On roughs, of all things, by the way. Your MVP is going to be none other than Tyrant Star. What a match from him and the rest of Tribe NA. They have sometime, not a lot of time, sometimes start thinking about now what's next, right? They're definitely going to be looking at the rest of this bracket going, okay, it's the last match of the day. We probably have an idea who we're expecting to go up against, so perhaps they're starting to think about prepping for that. We had a chat with Zulan earlier today. It's so funny, so energetic, definitely a lot of confidence on the stage, but off stage we sort of asked him, he just really refused to put him out there. He really refused to make any sort of saucy statements to us. He said, no, look, I mean, Na'Vi are really unpredictable. We see what they've done to other teams in Europe, see what they did to SK most recently. We're not getting ahead of ourselves, and I think that shone through in their play.
Yeah, I feel like Zulan has a very firm grasp on himself, honestly. Very modest now. You know, he's starting to mature in a wonderful way, and I think Tribe Gaming NA know themselves that, you know, anything can happen on the world stage, and keeping their cards close to their chest and just, you know, making it count through their thumbs is what Tribe Gaming NA is all about.
That's right, let's have a look at our bracket now and catch up with where we are in day #2. We have one match left in our round of 16, and as you can see, Na'Vi unvanquished, Tribe Gaming advance to play the winner of our next match. Draconic Esports, hailing from mainland China, go up against SK Gaming. A matchup you just really would very rarely get to see. We're very glad to, of course, have representatives from mainland China here. Those quarterfinals are already getting set up. The storylines at this point are writing themselves. But again, another moment to talk about Na'Vi here, right? This is a team that's really delighted us over the course of this year. Having them in EMEA now is a treat because we get to see them month after month go up against the very best from that region. We're glad to have them stay in that region. We hope, of course, to see more from them next year. It's an exciting squad of players, though.
Yeah, they're great guys as well. You know, they've got such great energy, you know, around the hotel and the venue here. I've really enjoyed speaking with them and, you know, getting to learn a bit more about them. As again, we haven't really had them in a LAN setting for a while, so you know, it's commiserations to them. I'd like to see them again, coming back on the main stage, you know, getting that all-important LAN experience. It will go such a long way.
Take a deep breath, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start to turn our attention towards our final match of the day. Reconic Esports go up against SK Gaming. And frankly, Reconic are an enigmatic team for us. Mainland China already had one of those qualifier matches to decide who would go through. Reconic didn't even win that one. More on that, of course, after we welcome them out to the stage.
Et allez, c'est l'heure du dernier match de la journée. Un gros match encore une fois. On a eu 3 énormes matchs. Il en reste un seul ticket à valider pour demain. Et celui-là, il est un petit peu spécial évidemment parce qu'il y a une équipe qui nous vient de Chine. Et j'en ai parlé tout à l'heure. Cette équipe est un petit peu particulière. Il n'y a qu'un joueur sur la scène aujourd'hui. Je vais vous demander de faire un max de bruit pour le joueur. Son nom est Tok. Je vais aussi la faire en anglais pour tout le monde. Et quick switch to English for you guys. Reconic Esports is entering, but only one player could make it to the stage. His name is Tok. He's going to be by himself right here. He doesn't have his teammates on stage, so I want you guys on the crowd to be his teammate. Make a maximum amount of noise for Tok and Reconic Esports!
Reconic Esports fought valiantly this year in the mainland China finals and want nothing more than to put their home region firmly on the map. Coming in as the number 2 seed is, of course, Nova Esports, who sadly weren't able to make it here today. But nonetheless, Reconic Esports qualified for the 2021 World Finals and now have the opportunity to better that performance.
Right, back then they were Trick of China. They go up against Queen Nai and they fall pretty spectacularly in a 3-0 series. Mainland China are yet to win a set at a World Finals. There's definitely a lot on these guys' tables, and how about this? Tok sat there on the stage. Talk about one man versus the world.
Yeah.
Literally. It's great to see the crowd get behind this guy, but I know they're about to make some serious noise because Reconic's opponents, they're about to take the stage themselves.
Et les derniers adversaires du jour, ils représentent le côté IMEA. On les connaît bien, il reste une seule place à valider pour demain. Un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour SK Gaming!
SK Gaming have been competing since the very birth of Brawl Esports. Semantic EA and iChaos with Coach Pedro understand the importance of both patience and controlled aggression better than anyone else. In the grand final of MSI this year, they took Zeta Division 1 all the way to match point, proving that they have what it takes to be world champions themselves. A team who scream louder than their spectators who cheer for them. Their passion speaks for itself.
In 2021, the El Clasico was SK Gaming versus AC Milan clash. Coming into this year, they made those two teams into one. Gear, iChaos, Semantic. The marriage of two teams that gave us some of the most exciting stories, rivalries, games in the EMEA region became this tour de force that's known as SK Gaming with an unmatched amount of LAN experience as far as European teams are concerned. These guys are the real deal. They won 2 monthly finals in March and September, so a decent gap between them, but no one's ever doubted this team. Even through their ups and downs arc, everyone has feared the name SK.
Exactly that. You know, they are and have been so experienced every step of the way, but we've got to talk about last year for them at the World Finals. You know, it was not the experience that they were hoping to have. Knocked out lightly in the first round, yeah, by Tribe Gaming NA, who, just to point out, they could well be facing again. We might get that
Don't
grudge
tell me
match.
with a good time, Ark.
I know. And of course with MSI, you know, that was the matchup as well that we saw, but SK triumphant there. And just that one game away from actually taking the MSI championship themselves.
It was incredible, that matchup between SK and Zeta Division 1. It went all the way. This team, while they're looking at their opponents here, you know, we heard from Pedro, he said, we just don't have really any information about this team. We had to be prepared for anything, but they're also looking ahead. They're looking at that Zeta Division 1 team. They're coming back for what is theirs. It's going to be quite a climb to get there. So right now, they need to dot their I's, cross their T's, they need to play tight, play perfect, and prepare themselves for what's to come.
I do really feel for Tok as well, I'll be honest, because, you know, SK are a scary team when they get loud. They love to try to intimidate, and, I mean, that's not as bad when you're sharing the load, you know, but, again, I really hope to see some great promise from Reconic Esports here today. It's, like you mentioned earlier, a bit tough for the mainland China region. Last year with Trigger China, they really did struggle against Queen Nai. They couldn't get a single game under their belt. No doubt that will be still in the back of their minds here today. But this is a tough one. I'm not going to sugarcoat it to you, but this is definitely a tough one here for Reconic.
Yeah, I mean, you saw our predictions earlier on here. SK Gaming are an absolute juggernaut, and frankly, opportunities for teams like Reconic Esports to take on the rest of the world are limited. They look on, they watch, they try and absorb what they can from seeing those matches, but nothing really measures up. Nothing matches getting out there in person and doing the real thing. Well, it's about time to get this thing going, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be Gold Arm Gulch for knockout first.
Yeah, and the poll with the big 81% in favour of SK Gaming. I'm actually a bit surprised based on some of the numbers that we've seen already the past 2 days. It's kind of actually relatively low. I mean, when you look at the big picture, Reconic going to be picking up Hyper straight away, banning out the Fang. It's a good shout, actually, because SK would love to get their hands on that one. Now, they obviously will not. Bonnie and Sprout, Gus, Brock, and Tick banned out by SK.
I swear I saw very recently, actually, a Fang 1 versus 3 on this map. It might have been like East Asia or one of those sort of more peripheral regions, but there's a big reason why no one really wants to deal with the Fang in those moments. He can absolutely turn up the heat in an instant. So the Gus ban here as well for SK. You know, it's a pick that we've seen them experiment with. Giaz playing a ton of Gus in that October monthly final, with the Nani getting picked up here. Peep gets extra scary when you don't get to respawn after getting blown up by it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta land them, that's the thing as well. But nonetheless, it's a great counter to Piper. You know, that is gonna be an interesting matchup to follow on those lanes, and I'm sure, no doubt about it, SK will be looking to target that specific player. Coming in with the next pick. There is still a Bell available. Would be the worst of ideas to have some kind of other rage brawler. Rico going to come in. IKLs, of course, as we all know, arguably the best Rico in the entire EMEA region, if not the entire world. If there's anyone that knows how to make that brawler do the business, it's him.
Our business is about to be good, I have a feeling. I get
Stonks.
playing stonks up. Playing those side lanes, obviously, is where we often find IKLs really aggressive, wants to collapse that side lane as early and often as possible. A lot of Penny, a little Lola play as well from IKLs where possible. We have the Roughs locked in here for good night.
Ultimately, those supply drops are going to really land a helping hand to those Piper shots as well. So, but you've got to have that survivor ability intact, and in a game mode like knockouts, when SK are going to go really aggressive, it can be problematic, let's say, to say the least. Carl, though, coming in, and I mean, there's very little to say now about Carl, having seen it over the past few days. We know this brawler has really catapulted into the forefront of the meta. Those flying hooks can be incredibly aggressive and can really get behind your opposition, and that strategic play can catch you off guard.
There's something very special about seeing star players on these mid-range brawlers, right? Brawlers that can either be fairly passive, play fairly safe, but also on a dime can jump on in, full engage, and look to find those eliminations. And then, of course, in knockout, it's a big deal. Eve gets picked up here, so this is a fascinating one now from SK Gaming to round out their team composition.
Yeah, it's now a brawler which is, not nearly as, I don't want to say bad, but it was definitely one that dropped out of the meta, but now coming back in again as a helping hand of those gears, and a tiny little buff here and there, but it's the hatchlings that can really cause a problem to brawlers like Piper. So I hope for Reconic that the communication is on point when it comes to those hatchlings and preparing themselves for it. And in we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to kick off here on Gold Arm Gulch. SK Gaming versus Reconic Esports TOC. And we will have gear playing the diagonal, as you would expect from the Nani here. And really gives the Chaos a lot of room to start to move on in.
That reload gear going to be coming out a lot, but a bit low here. Homemade recipe pops. All the return to sender, beautifully done by Guille, but doesn't quite get the takedown on the top of the map. There is a transaction going on with Talk, but so far, both sides standing strong.
You have to, when we talked about how, Nani does counter Piper, and that's one of the scariest things to deal with, that you think you've landed a shot, you try and guarantee it with homemade recipe, and it gets FedEx straight back to your dome. Toki really trying to be stalwart in this top part of the map and actually keeping Semantic in his home territory. Obviously, you want to play over that water as much as you can, as that's kind of what the utility that you bring here. So, SK are unperturbed by this current state of affairs here. Gear. Oh, there it is. The peep hits the mark.
3 versus 2 now. Pressure on for Raconic and so many hashlings as well. Chaos is closing in there on Talk and yeah. Talk gonna go down, like Chaos will pick it up.
That was pretty tight, actually. Those sandbags there, of course, can be pretty frustrating to deal with if you're SK Gaming. I've got to say, Semantic's really impressed me about his development over the last few years. He's toned down that sort of over-aggression so much, right? He's really become such a dependable stalwart player for this SK Gaming side. That was scary. Talk trying to go in. Semantic popping the gadget, trying to get away. Cannot escape. Great pick up there for Raconic.
Oh, but Talk goes down there on the top left, and now the return to center onto Goodnight. The pickup from Mike Chaos, beautifully done. 2 versus 1. Imp has going to have a lot of time spent juggling this situation, but SK can just play this as slow as they want, and they just get the pickup there and take the first game.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see from that angle there, but Gear sends a peep up to the top part of the map to at least secure a trade as Semantic kind of paves the way with his damage there on that Eve. And there's not much you can do as Talk there on that Carl. You're essentially a sitting duck. Well piloted there from Gear. And again, it's a pretty scary prospect if you're letting this guy build these supers up regularly.
Great stuff. Great start for SK. But Raconic is playing pretty decently, I feel. Like it's just simply a lot of aggressive players like Chaos raining down those shots and connection there from Goodnight onto Kie. Oh, but the return to sender was popped as well, but the Toby recipe still staying there as well is actually going to favour Raconic in that sense. Like Chaos, take the front of it.
Yeah, I could see a standoff there for a moment between the Piper and Nani. Him there, of course. Okay, field promotion for him, something we also want to point out. Obviously, making those brawlers more durable over time if they're able to be healed above that full health. Here comes the beep, straight down the middle though. Sandbags thrown up. Perfect placement.
Yeah, love that from Raconic. Does be thought through. But time now is getting on and the gas now starting to show. Talk has got super as well with connection yet again from Goodnight, but Kie still returning that favour in. Very low here, and the gas is going to keep him out of reach here.
Oh.
He goes down and Talk going to go in, but does not come out. Goodnight.
1v2, and it won't be enough. Interesting interaction there. We actually saw the Roughs end up firing at the return to center to sort of, get rid of it so his Piper can go back to work. The damage that Imp takes in doing so makes him die to 1 tick of the gas.
Talk's just healing up there. Still a 3 versus 3 now. We'll start to see on the top left as Semantic comes in. Pinch is looking good. The value here could be fantastic. For SK, Imp goes down. Goodnight. Surely not far to follow. He is getting tapped. I guess we'll have seen that now that people come in and try and finish his job.
Goodnight knows where's Brent's Butterbean. He's able to get out there with the pop, and it won't matter. Gear still finds the connection, and it's going to be Talk on his own, in-game and on stage. It's a tough break against a team like SK.
Confident stuff. I love the way that they just baited out the Piper jump and timed that run with the peep. Perfectly back round yet again. SK being quite quiet, quite reserved for a change as well, just to point out. I guess, that's actually really quite a nice thing to see, because when you've got someone else on the other side of the stage and it's just a one-man band, I think that shows some good sign of good sportsmanship. But again, they're not going to be so kind in the respects when it comes to, well, actually, no, yeah, maybe you.
I mean, it's Semantic, right? So there's always going to be some degree of exultant celebration. But I'm quite sure that SK also know this could be a longer series. It's already a best of 5 by default, right? So it's longer than your normal quarterfinal runs at a monthly final. And if they make tomorrow, which is looking pretty good so far, that is an extremely long day.
Yeah, oh yeah, tomorrow's where it all comes down to. In terms of the stats, Guy putting in so much work, Again, that Nanny pick, very underrated. That's why it's a bit of a tough brawler to draft on the side of Raconic. Piper early is definitely opening up the door a bit wide there, and SK very quick to capitalise. 4 for Semantic, 5 for Guy, 2 for Chaos, but Imp had a really tough round, as we said.
Absolutely. Very, very difficult on that Roughs to get much done. Often outranged, often being caught up to, often being called up to get rid of that return to center. Be like, hey, try and clear the way for your Piper. Man, it was SK Gaming's best map type. 86% win rate on knockout. Brawl Ball, not so much for them. A chance for Raconic here to maybe turn up the heat a little bit. We've seen some great storylines today. Plucky teams in an underdog position really put pressure on their opponents. That's what we want to see from Raconic Esports here. I know their conditions aren't ideal, but they're going to play out there on the stage. The crowd definitely behind them in a sense, so let's see if that's going to be enough to spur them to make this competitive.
Banter in and a swift draft of Poco for SK. I do like that. Banning out though the Eps, the Griff and the Otis on the side of Raconic, the Janet, the Ruffs and the Buster. But Poco, survivor ability, going to be key here. I wouldn't mind seeing a Gene on the side of Raconic. They wouldn't mind to have some healing qualities themselves from the magic puffs. Just know how the magic hand can really turn those tides. B is their first draft coming in. The range, of course, the honey molasses, the slows. Really does pack a sting. You've got to back it up also at the same time. And there's some options still available here. Penny isn't banned, and we know what that can do when you get the turret in just the right spot. It can really put that aggression on the goal or help on the defensive. Let's see if the second pick comes in.
Yeah, Raconic taking their time with this one. Seeing a Poco means that there's actually a whole host of different things that might have to deal with. You kind of foreshadow it here. The Penny comes in. I think we sort of talked about it, right? If Poco is heralding a more aggressive in-your-face composition,
very much on their feet, and it's going to be a very different play style.